Alright, welcome everyone. This is Old School Johnny coming with you with another video. This is going to be a different video for me. This is different than what I normally do, but in the age that we are in, I think it's hugely important. So today I'm going to talk about the new streaming app, which is about almost a half a month old, and that is HBO Max. And the different things that I'm going to talk about are, one, how do you get it? What is it exactly? The price, and we're going to do a basic navigation of the app. So before we do anything like with navigation and I tell you if I like it or not, I want to first talk about what is it exactly. So basically, as we learned with, the COVID, um, we have to get a lot of our content, especially with movie theaters making a slow comeback, that we have to get most of our content. Let me just refresh the screen here. From what we call streaming platforms. And right now, today in the industry, I call them 5 major streaming platforms. And what do I mean by major? So basically what it is you can get different types of movies and television series on all of these streaming platforms, but most importantly, you can get original content. And going forward, I believe how all of these streaming platforms, are able to provide us with good original content is how they will be able to survive going forward. So HBO Max is definitely going to be a major platform. And, we're going to navigate through some of its content later, but I want to just to say that yes, this is definitely going to be a major streaming platform going forward. And I will tell you later if it's worth getting. So how do you get it? So people may be confused first when they hear the HBO Max name in it. What is it exactly? So, and how am I going to get it? So we explained about what it is, but how do you get it and what devices is it available with? So basically, if you are an HBO subscriber, you are going to be able to get the HBO Max app, and you're going to be able to get HBO Max for free. And that's because HBO Max, along with HBO content on it, has other things that come from the Warner Media Library, meaning that there's things like, as you see on my screen there, Looney Tunes. There's also things like Harry Potter on there and various other films, which we are going to talk about when we navigate through it. So what devices is it available with? So right now, as we speak today, when this hopefully will be changed, right now you can get it on Apple TVs. You can get it with your PlayStation 4, the Xbox One. You can get it on your laptop or Mac, but you have to do it through your browser. As you can see here, I had to type in hbomax.com in order to get it. You're not going to be able to get it through the Windows Store. But you also can get it through the Google Play Store, and you can get it on Android TVs that are 2016 and newer, and you can get it again for any TVs that are going to be able to, give you the Play Store. So devices that it's not available on are, unfortunately, they have not been able to reach a deal with the Roku. The Roku, unfortunately, is where many folks go to stream many of their content and their different apps. So one of the unfortunate things about the rollout of this platform from the beginning. Another thing it's not available on is Prime Video, meaning if you're an Amazon subscriber, if you have an Amazon Fire TV, you will not be able to get the HBO Max streaming platform on it. And I would think when it comes to the Amazon situation, because I believe Prime Video is one of the majors when it comes to streaming, that's one of the major reasons that they kind of probably didn't come with the deal. And like I said, so those are two things you can't get on it, and you cannot get it on any of your Fire devices. So now let's just do a basic navigation of what we're getting with HBO Max. So right here in the beginning here, you see that we're going to my home screen. And this is kind of I've always say how your home screen is and how user friendly it is and how quick you can get to things that you want to watch is really tells you a lot about a platform. So right from the beginning here, it gives you some of the things that HBO Max is basically probably popular with right now. So as we can see, there's some movies. Something I do like that it does, here it has the HBO insignia on it telling you that's where it's coming from. Something that I think is huge when deciphering or deciding, is this platform worth it for me to get? All right, and going down here, we can see continue watching. I love when I'm watching a series where I can open up my streaming platform and pick off where I left off. So you can see here, I was watching the Looney Tunes here, and you know, cool thing about the Looney Tunes, I'm gonna have a video later on about the Looney Tunes and what I like that it did. But again, I could pick up and watch the Looney Tunes right there. Scrolling down on my screen here, we see the different series that it has, from Friends, last week with Oliver, The Sopranos, and you're going to say, hey, it's very HBO heavy where it's content. That is true, but I'm going to show you some of the other things that it has, that's really cool and that it actually has more than just the HBO content. So here's some of the originals. And again, eventually I think something that's going to be very huge, and one of the things that all these streaming platforms are going to battle for is original content. Because as every major studio gets their own streaming platform, you're not going to have the ability to show certain films because, again, you're going to be able to get them with their studio's platform. So far right here with original content, it's not too big. That's something that we hope will grow. We got Looney Tunes, we got Legendary, Love Life, The Not Too Late Show with Elmo. Scrolling down here, we have movies. It has a really decent movie library. I like how it has some of the films that come from HBO right now, but it also has a good selection of, with Hobbit and DC. And we're going to get into that in just a second. So we scroll down here. I love this, celebrating Black voices, especially in the times we are, film or TV series is a good medium to learn about social issues. So I'm glad that the HBO Max app actually was able to, put that up there. I really, really, really do like that. Um, and it's different movies. You might say some of them aren't really about that issue, but it's also celebrating those actors or actresses that are very important for the Black voices. So I do love that section. Scrolling down here, we see that we have the Harry Potter and all the 8 films. That's something I hope that they keep for a while. I do like Lord of the Rings better than Harry Potter, but again, that is going to be a different discussion for a different day. So rather than go to this bar here where you're going to see where you can pull up the different genres and stuff that's just at it or it's going away or it's coming soon, I want to point out something that I believe is the most interesting thing and thing I like that you can find on the home page. And that is called the HBO Max Hubs. And when you scroll down with them, you can click on here, the HBO, and you're going to get HBO content, which really, really makes that very precise. If you're looking for HBO content, if you're looking for a show, a movie, you can get to it pretty fast. Let's go back to the home screen here and see what else is in the hubs. Scrolling down here. Scrolling. Okay, DC content. So this is one of the biggest debates that's happening right now when it comes to DC content. I'm a big DC Comics fan. I love me some DC. I could probably watch a Batman film almost every day. And when we scroll here just to see some of the featured DC films, we can see that it's the Batman with the Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, but we also have Batman versus Superman. We have the Watchmen series, The Killing Joke, Beware the Batman. Now, it was said recently that all of this content is definitely not going to stay, and that it's going to be pulled on and off, which is something that does happen often. I know with Netflix, and I cannot speak for Disney Plus, but I know that is something that happens recently. But just what they have now here for as far as DC content, I mean, I'm content with it. I mean, I love, you know, well, the DC Universe movies, some of them are good, some of them are bad. But again, if they're pulled on and off, that's not something that's really going to, you know, get me upset. And I'm a huge DC fan. Something I would love for them to do is, as you see, Doom Patrol. That's a show that's on the DC Universe app. I would love to see them integrate that DC Universe app into the HBO Max. And hopefully they're in talks with that. You know, with these studios and they're so big and who owns who, I don't know how that really would work out. Something though I wish they would do, because again, I love me some DC and I love to watch various things, and I would love to get some comics. Although it was announced today that HBO Max actually has some comic book heroes, which is really cool. Probably something I'm going to be able to post on one of my pages later on in the week. Let's go back to see what else they have on hubs. So Sesame Street, really cool. I'm not personally going to watch Sesame Street, but this is something that I wanted to stress with everybody here. If they're, thinking about getting the HBO Max, or, thinking if it's worth it because, you may be an adult and you like HBO Max, but you say, well, what about for kids? Certainly, just looking at these HBO Max hubs, there's a lot of stuff that's kid friendly. So you got Sesame Street, but let's look at the Cartoon Network collection and see, are there good cartoons for my children to watch? So we got We Bears, Steven Universe is a okay cartoon, Powerpuff Girls, I know a lot of the kids like that. The regular show is okay, but let's scroll down to see other things that they have here. We have Dexter's Laboratory, Flapjack, Chowder, Gumball, and Gumball, is a really cool one. I know a lot of the kids like that. And Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I haven't seen that in forever, and that's just me highlighting a few, but that's certainly a good, collection of cartoons for some kids to watch. So comparing that to something like Disney Plus, I think HBO Max right now is able to hold their own as far as it goes for kids. But let's pull over the thing that you saw me watching, which was the Looney Tunes. So the cool thing about the Looney Tunes, in which they did, and I'm definitely going to make a video and post about this, is that one, you're able to get some of the older stuff as far as movies and shows like Sylvester and Tweety, but they've also gotten their own new Looney Tune cartoons, which is really cool because you're exposing younger kids to who not that they didn't know who Bugs Bunny was, but it's cool that HBO Max was able to dedicate a whole section for the Looney Tunes and able to tweak their characters, and expose them to a younger audience. I really, really love the fact that they did that. So definitely kudos for them for that Looney Tunes section. I know you're probably going to tired of me going back and forth with this, but there's just 3 more things I wanted to highlight, and I'm going to give you my basic, I'm a big person with a fedora, if you ever seen my logo, so we're going to see if it's going to get me my tip of the cap. So let's look at here, Adult Swim, that's not something I'm going to do, but let's see about classic films, because once in a while I do like to watch some classic films. So right up top here we have 2001, A Space Odyssey, Apocalypse Now, that's really cool, East of Eden, Pride and Prejudice. What else do they have? Let's scroll down. Musicals, Shall We Dance, American in Paris, Wizard of Oz. Scrolling down even more, this is something I wanted to really point out. The fact that they have stuff from, Charlie Chaplin. So even if you're trying to learn, or I always like to watch some older films just to see, what it was like back in that old Hollywood era. That's really cool that they have a good selection of his type of films, and especially films from that era. Westerns, you don't see too many of them today, but right here, if you want to watch yourself a Western, they got a good selection here. And all of these, I guess, are coming from the Turner Classic Movies library, but it certainly has a good, not an extensive, but enough to, if you want to do a classic film night, you certainly have plenty of movies in this library to go to. Two other things to highlight here. I am not an anime fan, but HBO Max was able to provide folks with some anime from the Crunchyroll collection right here. And going back, they were able from the studio Jill Hilby, and I apologize if I don't pronounce it right because I'm not a big anime fan. So I can't say I'm not a fan. It's just I haven't watched enough of it to really give my input on it. Maybe it's something that I might watch now because it's on HBO Max. So those are a few of the things here. So basically, you get this for $14.99 a month, unless you get it through other ways. I think if you're an AT&T user, which is connected with Warner, you're able to get it. I think some other cable providers are now, maybe will give you deals and all that. But basically, it is $14.99 a month. Now, compare that to the other streaming platforms. I think just a regular Netflix thing is not even going to cost you that much. It's probably going to cost you a little bit under that. And Disney Plus is certainly cheaper per month. However, because you're getting this stuff right here, the DC, you're getting this, cartoons, Looney Tunes, this, but plus you're getting HBO content. I really believe that supports the price for this. Yes, it's disappointing that you're not able to get it through your Roku or Amazon, but I believe that's something going forward that HBO Max is going to do a better job on. I don't foresee that. I foresee them getting a deal done quickly, to be honest with you. I think this platform, it's going to be interesting if they're able to give original content from more than this, meaning if they get some more original content with this. I know the Snyder Cut is supposed to come out for the Justice League on this HBO Max. If they can get original content like this on here with this and this, they certainly will be able to, be in competition with Disney and definitely Netflix, because I really do like this content here. But you may say, well, old school Johnny, I have a lot of apps, how am I can't afford all of them. So basically when I tell people about this, it's all about where you go for, with all of your content. If you love Marvel and you love Star Wars, certainly I would buy the Disney Plus. If you're me, you love DC and you love Warner content, you're going to like HBO Max. If you like a little bit both, or, well, you're not going to get it on Netflix, but if you like a large thing of original content, then Netflix is certainly your bet. If you like a whole mix of those things like I do, you're going to get them all. But I know people can't afford them all, but I do like the setup here. It's very user friendly, and it's certainly going to be, I think, something that's going to stick around. And one thing that'll be interesting is this. Because this is in connection with Warner Media, and because movies right now or theatrical releases are something that is going to be a little bit more tricky, are they going to release movies that they don't think have a strong enough maybe popularity or have a good chance of being successful in the theater? Or are they going to put them on HBO Max? We saw that Disney Plus did that, and we saw that Netflix or Prime Video has been buying not buying, but basically saying, hey, you could come on our platform and release it. So if they're able to do that with Warner, that would also be a reason why I would get HBO Max. Because again, Warner is definitely one of the major studios when it comes to movies and content. So this is my video about HBO Max. It's kind of the first time I've done really an extensive review of something. Um, I'm not really a big review person, but if you do like this content or you'd like to see me do more content on that, please just comment below. I've been trying to adjust myself, and during these times of, during COVID, I'm a big person who likes to go to the theater, but I cannot ignore the importance of streaming platforms and what they mean for folks to get exposed to film and different series and what is going on. So hopefully folks have a good week, and thank you for joining me.